Sana Dandam Namaskritya Nilajursanidam Sharinam Indriyam Pranam Sadgurubhyo Nivedaye Atmadadavikam Sarvam Sadgurubhyo Nivedaye Karmana Manasvavistar Gurgane Madhavutrakam Sudheshtarakam Prasambhaksam Vanjayena Varanane Samsara Vrksamarudan Patanto Dana Karnave Veda Saivo Drita Sarve Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Eva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Veda Veda Gatameva Samsara Lama Siddhave Prabhave Sarva Vidyana Sambhave Gurave Namah Ajnanati Nirandasya Jnanajalakshalakkaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Samhitatvam ca me mata Tvam bandhu tvam ca devata Samsara pravivodhartam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Jagat satyam Yat prakashena bhaktika Yadanandena nandanti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Yasya sikya satyamidam Napativana rupata Priyam buddha viyat vidya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Tena cetayate hridam Citam cekayate nayam Janrat svapna susukyani Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Yasya jnana nidam vishwam Nadusham vena vedata Satika rupa rupaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Yasya matam tasya matam Matam yasya nivedata Ananya bhava bhavaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Yasya karana rupasya Kaya rupena bhaktiya Kaya karana rupaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nana rupa vidam sarvam Nakena vyasti vinnata Kaya karana taseva Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Jnana vena maladvallam Valvata bhani vadakam Tarakam sarvada bhagya Shri Guru Pranamamyam Naiva tuje uruskata Guru pradeshi honahi Tasmat sarva prayannena Shri Guru Sharanam Vraje Vande Guru Varadvanvan Vanvanachita Gautara Shvetaratta Prabhavena Shivachandra Parampara Yukaram Chagunatitam Yukaram Rupa Vargitam Gunadita Suruvansa Yodajatta Gurusmata Advineta Sarvasakshi Attaturva Achyuta Attaturvajano Brahma Shri Guru Bhakti Ayamaya Devado Kaya Saga Vrindaye Yadanudra Gojantu Chitta Sundara Muktiva Shri Guru Vanamam Rupam Viveka Chakshu Samritam Mandavajnana Pasyanti Andasuyodayam Yata Srinadadadana Dvalvam Yasya Vidhi Virakate Taise niste namaskurya bhaktya bhakti-dinam priye. Taise niste satatam anjale sahaye prakshipyate mukharito madhave mudesha jagati yatra bhagavan guru chakravarti Srinadari Guru Trayam Ganapati Nitatrayam Vedamaham Siddho Ganpati Kharvayam Vanayugam Tutikramam Vandadam Vedantastastastasasti Namakam Vedavadi Panchakam Srimad Mani Mantraraja Sahitam Vande Guru Mandalam Abhyasne sakale siddhirna manile Yadi prare dushare Pranayama sathena nikha kalane Dukamate dujaye Yasmina viride vinasati bali Vayu swayam chakshana Bhaktu tatsajam svabhava manisam Sevadvame Seva Sarira Chinkana Vavedanagasa Sivasa Chinkana Vadechika Seva Sadama Kirtana Vavedanagasa Sivasa Kirtana Yatpararenu Kanika Kati Samsara Varide Chedu Bandaya Tenatam Desikam Bhasmaya
Shuddhi Shiroratna Nirajita Parambuja Vedantambuja Suryoyas Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Yasya Smarana Madrena Jnanamupadyate Swayam Yaiva Sarva Sampraptis Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chaitanyam Shashvatam Shantam Vyomatitam Niranjanam Narabindu Kalatitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Savaram Jagamam Seva Tata Cheva Characharam Vyaptamena Jagat Sarvam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Jnana Shakti Samarudas Dharmamala Vibhushitam Mukti Mukti Pradatayas Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Aneka Jamma Samprapta Sarva Karma Vidayine Swapnajnana Prabhavena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nagarorarikam Tattvam Nagarorarikam Tapah Tattvam Yana Param Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Manata Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Mama Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Jnana Moolam Guru Murti Puja Moolam Guru Param Mantra Moolam Guru Vakyam Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa Guru Radhira Nadishta Guru Param Devatam Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Sapta Sagara Panyanta Tirtha Snanarikam Phalam Guru Rangritayo Bindu Sasam Shrena Dullavam Guru Guru Shraddha Guru Rushtena Kashtanam Tasmat Sarva Prayanena Shri Guru Sharanam Raje Gureva Jagat Sarvam Brahma Vishnu Shiva Makam Guru Parataram Nasti Tasmat Sampujay Guru Jnana Vijnana Saitam Lavyate Guru Bhaktitam Guru Parataram Nasti Deyo So Guru Margini Parataram Nasti Neti Neti Diveshtuti Manasa Vacha Sacheva Nityamaradaye Guru Guru Kripa Prasadena Brahma Vishnu Sarashiva Samartha Prabhavadocha Kevalam Guru Sevaya Devaki Naragandharva Vikaro Yaksha Charana Vinayopina Jananti Guru Shrushane Vidim Ahankara Garbena Tapo Vidya Balandita Samsara Kuara Varte Tatayantre Yatagata Tadeva Gandharva Vitaro Yaksha Kinnara Vishaya Sarva Siddhascha Guru Seva Paramukha Jnanam Shri Mahadevi Sarvananda Pradayakam Sarva Sokhya Karam Nityam Mukti Mukti Vidayakam Srimad Parabrahma Gurum Smarami Srimad Parabrahma Gurum Vadami Srimad Parabrahma Gurum Namami Srimad Parabrahma Gurum Bhajami Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurti Vanva Sarvamasyarilakshan Ekam Nityam Vimalamanchalam Sarvari Sakshi Bhutam Bhavajitam Trigunaraitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Yam Sudam Nirabhasam Nirakaram Nirandanam Nityapuram Chiranandam Guru Brahman Mamyam Udam Vijay Karnikam Madhya Samste Simasane Samsitya Divya Murti Yaye Gurum Chandra Kala Prakashan Vipustaka Vishta Varam Dharanam Shvetam Varam Shvetam Vilaypa Pushtam Mukta Vibhusham Muritam Dvinekram Vamakativya Sindhya Divya Shaktim Mandasmitam Sandra Kripaniranan Anandam Anandakaram Prasanam Jnana Swarupam Nijabhora Yuktam Yogindra Medyam Bhavaroga Vedyam Srimad Gurum Nityamam Namami Yasmin Sushi Chitido Amsa Nigra Nugra Nakam Pratyam Pancha Viram Shasvat Kasaditam Namamyam Kata Shira Shishukvate Vinekvam Vibhujam Gurum Varavaya Yutam Shantam Smaritam Nama Purvakam Nagarorarikam 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 Shiva Shasanata Shiva Shasanata Shiva Shasanata Shiva Shasanata Virameva Shivam Virameva Shivam Virameva Shivam Virameva Shivam Mama Shasanato Mama Shasanato Mama Shasanato Mama Shasanata Evam Vidam Gurum Yatma Jnanam Upadyate Swayam Tat Satguru Prasadena Muktamiti Bhavaye Rudarshita Margena Manashudim Tukaraye Anityam Kandaye Sarvam Yatim Chinta Magocharam Eyam Sarva Sarupam Sham Jnanam Chamana Uchase Jnanam Eya Samam Puryan Nanya Panta Dvitiyaka Evam Shiva Mahadevi Survindam Karotya Sayate Naragam Gaura Yava Chandra Divakaram Yava Kalpanta Kodehas Savadeva Gurum Smare Guru Lokmana Kartavya Satsang Yari Bhavave Omkarena Navaktavyam Ratneshi Shekatanchana Guru Ragrena Vaktavyam Asatyam Chakarachana Gurum Samkritya Nritya Gurum Nirjitya Vadasa Aranyene Dale Deshe Sabhave Brahma Rakshasa Munimi Panage Vapi Sureva Shapito Yari Alam Mrityu Dayat Bhakti Guru Rakshati Parvati Ashaktai Suravyascha Ashaka Murayasata Guru Shapena Te Shigram Shayam Yantina Samshaya Mantra Raja Miram Devi Guru Rityaksharadvayam Smriti Virata Vakyena Guru Saksha Paramparam Shruti Smrti Avignaya Kevalam Guru Sevakam Deve Sanyasina Prabhukam Itare Veshatharinam Yam Brahma Nirakaram Nirgunam Bodhi प्रसादेन अमरमं निरीक्षये अनेन गुरुमार्गेण ब्रह्मज्ञानं प्रवर्तते आगमस्तवपर्यन्तं परमात्मस्वरूपकं सागरं जगमं चैव वन्देऽहं सच्चिदानन्दं निरतीतं सदा गुरुं निर्गुणं स्वात्मसंस्थितं हरतरं ध्येयं नित्यमानन्दकारकं हृदयाकाशमध्यस्थं सदास्वत्मिकसानिपं प्रतिमारूपं दृश्यते दर्पणे यथा ततः मणिचिराकारम् आनन्दं सनित्युताम् अङ्गुष्ठमन्त्रपुरुषं ध्यायतश्चिन्मयं हृदि तत्र स्फुरति भावोऽयं सुनिरुतं कथयं याम् अगोचरं तथा गम्यं नामरूपाविवर्जितम् जानीयात् स्वभावं ब्रह्म पार्वती तथा गन्धस्वभावेन कर्पूरकुसुमारिषु शीतोष्णारि स्वभावेन तथा ब्रह्म च शाश्वतम् स्वयं तथाविदो भूत्वा कर्तव्यं यत्र कुत्रचित् नित्यब्रह्मरवतत्र ज्ञानं भवति तदृशम् गुरुज्ञानं तथा कृत्वा स्वयं ब्रह्मं योगमेत् ते पारे चचारूपे मुक्तो सो नात्र संशयः श्रीपार्वती उवाच इन्दं किन्तु महादेव परं किं सामुदारुतं रूपहितं सर्वं किम् एतद्वद्यायि शङ्करा श्रीमहादेव उवाच इन्दं कुण्डलिनी शक्ति परमं सामुदारुतं रूपबिन्दुरितिज्ञेयं रूपबिन्दं निरञ्जनम् हृदे मुक्ता परे मुक्ता रूपे मुक्ता वरानने रूपातीते प्रिये मुक्ता ते मुक्तो नात्र संशयः स्वयं सर्वमयो भूत्वा परं तत्त्वं विलोकये परतरं नान्यत् सर्वमेतन्निरालयम् अस्य वालोकनं प्राप्य सावसङ्गविवर्जितम् एकाकिनीष्णाशङ्काः तिष्ठसेता प्रसादतः राजं वचनलतं वा सद्भावबाहुलं च निष्कामेनेव भोक्तव्यं तदा सन्तुष्टते च सा गम्यपरनित्या देहि सर्वं मयो गुणः सदानन्द सरसन्त कामते यत्र कुत्रचित् तत्रैव तिष्ठते सोऽपि सदृश पुण्यभाजनं मुक्तस्य लक्षणं देवी तव गृहे मया उपदेश सदा देवी गुरुमार्गेण मुक्तिरा गुरुभक्ति सदा ध्यानं सकलं तव कीर्तितम् अनेन य भवेत् कार्यं तद्वदामि मामते लोकोपकारकं देवी लौकिकं च न भावये लौकिककर्मणो यान्ति ज्ञानेनाववर्णवान् ज्ञानि तु भावये सर्वं कर्म निष्कर्म यत्कृतम् इदं तु भक्तिभावेन पादते शृणुते हरि निखिलभक्ति Vyanasanam Alam Mrityu Vayaram Sarvasankatanashanam Yaksha Rakshasa Bhutanam Chaurabhyagra Vayapam Mahavyari Aram Sarvam Vibhuti Siridam Bhave Atavamo Aram Vasham Swayameva Jape Sadam Daridram Ashane Roga Sambhavam Medilyam Dukamamnoti Kaste Bhavati Nishvalam Krishna Vinayana Siddhi Moksha Shigyagra Charmani Tushasanayana Siddhi Sarva Sirushta Kambale Sheva Durvaya Devi Asane Shubra Kambale Upavesha Tato Devi Kaveka Kamanasa Eyam Shukam Jasanyartam Vashiraktasanam Ye Avichare Krishna Varnan Gita Varnam Danagame Uttare Shanti Kamastu Ashe Purvamukojape Dakshine Maranam Rokam Ashtine Chadanagaman Mohanam Sarva Bhutanam Bandhamokshaparam Bhave Devaraja Bhukaram Sarva Loka Vashambhave Sarvesham Stamanakaram Guranam Chavivardhanam Sukarma Siddham Bhave Asidam Sadaye Karyam Navagrahavayapaam Vishwadnanashanam Cheva Susvarna Phaladayakam Sarva Shanti Karam Nityam Tatavadyasa Pujyanam Avedabhyam Karam Srinam Sobhayadayakam Sadam Ayuvarogrameshvarya Putra Putra Vavardhanam Akamata Shivirabham Japa Moksham Abhapnuyat Davyam Sakamantu Labhate Chanya Janmani Sarva Dukkam Bhayam Vignam Ashtaye Chaparakam Sarva Pada Prashamanam Dharmata Kama Mokshanam Yam Yam Chintayate Kamam Tam Cha Prapnoti Nishitam Amitasya Kamadenu Kalpana Kalpakarapa Chintamani Shrintitasya Sarva Mangala Karakam Moksha Heturjate Nityam Moksha Shriyama Bhaktiyam Yoga Kama Jate Yoge Asya Kama Falapradam Tape Chata Sasurashcha Ganapadyashna Vaishnava Seva Sasirinam Devi Satyam Satyam Na Samshaya Ata Kamya Jape Sthanam Kalpayami Varanane Sagareva Sarire Atavari Aralaye Shakti Deva Egoste Sarva Devale Shube Akseta Datri Muleva Mandi Vrindavane Tata Avitri Nirmale Stane Nityanushtana Topiva Nirvidone Ramonena Japamitam Samachare Sushane Vayapumautu Vantamulanchike Chata Siddhyanti Dotare Mule Chitta Vriksha Sasaniro Guru Putra Varamurkas Tasya Siddhyanti Nanyata Shiva Karmani Sarvani Savrata Tapamsicha Sam भावपाशानि वृत्तये Guru Gita Vasi Snanam Tadvadya Gurute Sada Saivacha Guru Sakshat Sadasa Brahma Vittama Tasya Stanani Sarvani Avitrani Na Samshaya Sarva Shuddha Pavitrosu Svabhavadyatra Tishtati Tatra Deva Gana Sarve Kshetre Pite Vasanti Asana Sashayano Ashvaruda Gajaruda Sutava Jagrutopiva Yashisma Sasaranyani Guru Gita Japenatu Tasya Darshana Matrena Punarjamana Vidyate Namudre Jayata Goyam Shire Shiram Gute Gutan Kumbeya Kakashas Atama Paramatmani Adeva Jnani Jivatma Paramatmani Liyate Ekena Ramatayani Yatra Tatra Divanishan Evam Vidya Mahamukta Savara Vartate Buddha Asya Sarva Kayanena Bhava Bhakti Karotiya Sarva Sante Araito Mukto Bhavati Parvati Mukti Mukti Dvayam Tasya Jiva Grecha Saraswati Nena Pranina Sarve Guru Gita Japena Tu Sarva Siddhi Prabhuvarti Mukti Mukti Na Samshaya Satyam Satyam Punah Satyam Dharmam Satyam Mayoritam Guru Gita Samam Nasti Satyam Satyam Varanane Eko Deva Eka Dharma Eka Nishta Parantama Guru Parataram Nanyan Nasi Tattvam Guru Param Mata Danya Pita Danya Danyo Vacha Kunantata Danya Cha Vasura Devi Guru Bhakti Sakullama Sharira Mindriyam Pranash Sarda Svajana Bandava Mata Pita Kulama Devi Guru Revana Samshaya Akavaja Manakotya Japa Vrata Tapatriya Vatsyavam Sakhalam Devi Guru Santosha Matrata Vidya Tapo Bhavineva Mandava Yashraye Nara Guru Seva Nakurvanti Satyam Satyam Varanane Mahe Shastra Devashi Pitra Kinnara Sitacharana Yakshastra Ane Privo Nayojana Guru Bhava Param Tirtam Anya Tirtam Nirartanam Sarva Tirta Shayo Devi Harangushram Chavartate Tapena Jaya Manoti Charanta Phalamapniyan Nina Karma Dyajan Sarvam Sanani Charamani Cha Chapamina Sarangurman Nina Karma Phalapralam Guru Gita Prayaneva Sangrame Rupasankate Chapanjaya Mavavnoti Marane Muktirayakam Guru Putra Sasidyati Iranga Sano Vacham Tavagre Kapitam Maya Subhopyam Cha Prayanena Amam Santa Priyakriti Swami Mukya Ganeshari Vishnavarinam Cha Parvati मनसात्मेन वक्तव्यं सत्यं सत्यं वदाम्यहम् अतीव भगवच्चित्ताय शब्दभक्तियुताय च वक्तव्यमेकं देवी नमामि सदा प्रिये अभक्ते वञ्चके दुर्गे आपने नास्तिके नरे मनसात्मेन वक्तव्यं गुरु गीता करार्चना ब्रह्मादिदेव मुनि मंत्रम् दारिद्र दुःख भवरोग विनाश मंत्रम् वन्दे महाकाय तं गुरु राज मंत्रम् श्री स्कंद पुराणे उत्तरखंडे ईश्वर पार्वती संवादे गुरु गीता समाप्ता चरणार्पणमस्तु नित्यानन्दाय गुरवे शिष्य संसारिणे भक्तकाय कलेहाय नमस्ते चित्सदात्मने निर्वासनं निराकाङ्क्षं सर्वदोषाविवर्जितं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् निर्ममं निरहङ्कारं समलोष्टास्मकञ्चनं समादुःखसुखमरीरम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् अविनाशिन ममानम् एकविघ्नाय तत्त्वतः वितरागभयक्रोधं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् नाम देवो न मे देवो जीवो नामामि एवं विघ्नाय सन्तुष्टं सर्वभूतं नमाम्यहम् समस्तकल्पनामन्त्रं ब्रह्ममुक्ता सनातनं इति विघ्नाय सन्तृप्तं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् ज्ञानकीलकर्माणां कामसङ्कल्पवर्जितं हेयपारेयैनान्दम् अवरुद्धं नमाम्यहम् स्वभावेनैव यो योगी सुखं पौनं न वंशति कालावसन्तुष्टं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् नैव निन्दा प्रशंसाभ्यां यस्य विक्रियते मनः आत्मक्रीडमानम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् नित्यं जाग्रदवस्थायां स्वप्नवद्योगतिष्ठति निश्चिन्तं चिन्मयमानं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् द्वेषं नास्ति प्रियं नास्ति नास्ति यस्य शुभाशुभम् वेदज्ञानविनन्दम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् जरपाशति नो यस्तु जगत्पाशान्ति चिन्मयम् नित्ययुक्तं गुणातीतं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् यो हि दर्शनमात्रेण भवते भुवनत्रयम् पावनं दगमं तीर्थम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् सर्वपूज्यं सदापूर्णम् अखण्डानन्दविग्रहम् स्वप्रकाशं चिदानन्दं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् निष्कलं नित्यं शान्तं निर्मलं परमामृतम् अनेशापुरिवसीणाम् अवधूतं नमाम्यहम् योगपूर्णं तपोमूर्तिं प्रेमपूर्णं सुदर्शनम् ज्ञानपूर्णं कृपामूर्तिं नित्यानन्दं नमाम्यहम् दुर्जना सज्जनो भूयात् Sadhgurunad Maharaj Ki Jai. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday morning Satsang here at Shanti Mandir, Walden. A very happy New Year again to everyone. And today's a very exciting day because today we formally begin with Dana Wilkinson initiating our new topic for the year. So Gurudev has chosen the topic, Love of the Guru. And when we start to contemplate love of the Guru, even if we just start with this word Guru, we know that for many of us, there's so much inherent in just this one word. So Guru, a teacher, a guide. As Swami Shankarananda always said, G, you are you. So you are the self, you are you. That's what the Guru shows us. From darkness to light, Guru. So we start to contemplate this word, and for many of us, it starts off with maybe a very, very simple meaning. It gets us started on the path. It begins to enliven us and open us up to this guru-disciple relationship, this teacher-student relationship. But slowly over time, we start to find that this one word, as we start to go deeper and deeper into it, it carries so much potency. It carries so much meaning. And as Niteshwari had used this book for the study group, Secret of the Siddhas, it carries the secret of the Siddhas, truly, that one word, Guru. And when we start to go into it deeply, we start to find that it's a revelation, it's an unfolding of our own very own self, our relationship to ourself, to this world, to the universe. And I think one of the greatest teachers is the Guru Gita, is this book, this chanting book that we chant every single day. We used to do it in Baba's days every single morning. And now here at the ashram, we do it on Thursdays and on Sundays. And it's the song of the Guru. And again, as you start to read it, as you start to chant it, it's 182 verses, many Sanskrit words, all Sanskrit. But as you slowly start to dive into it and really surrender to it and offer ourselves to the chanting of it, it starts to reveal so many treasures, and all of those, all from with the self. So this year we're going to be using this book, and this is the new study book. So this is the one that Jude Berman and team all created together. Many, many, many hours of hard work, seva, and effort went into creating this book. And Gurudev's idea was that each verse that they would break down the Sanskrit to the English to the meaning so it's very, very well done. And this is the new rendition that's now available in the gift shop. So if anybody wants to purchase it and have it as your reference for this whole year of 2021, you can do that online, or you can also call the ashram and order it. All of the speakers will use it as and when they wish to for their references, but also love of the Guru. It's not just, each speaker is not bound to using just this one book, but to really share with everyone their perspectives, their meaning, their interpretation, their experience of love of the Guru. And when I was reflecting on this the last couple of weeks, I was thinking the greatest reference, really, for love of the Guru is Baba's relationship to Bhagavan Nityananda. And if we use that as a starting point, many of us over the years, whenever it was Bhagavan Nityananda's Samadhi Day, Baba would always talk about his Guru. And when he would sit there and he would speak of his Guru, not only was there so much emotion, but there was so much Shakti and so much power in his referring to him. And he would always say he was the greatest of all gurus, the greatest teacher. And his reverence and his respect was so deep that as he spoke, everybody would just sit there completely speechless listening to him share about his own guru. So what I wanted to do was just read a couple of verses from Secret of the Siddhas where Baba is talking about Bhagavan Nityananda, and it's from the chapter Nityananda. And then what we'll do from here is Dana will speak to all of us and share the first talk of 2021 on love of the Guru. O Nityananda, you used to say, the self is the supreme truth. There is nothing more sublime than the self. The self is within. Turn within. In this way, you taught with just a few words. For you, within and without were the same. You always dwelled within. What a great siddha you were. The sublime sweetness of Kundalini plays throughout the entire body of a great being. In ecstasy, he is one with the perfect bliss of the Absolute. In his company, people naturally experience joy. O Nityananda, thousands of people sat in silence before you. Everyone was intoxicated. Wherever a great siddha dwells, the atmosphere is permeated with serenity and love. O friend, improve yourself, purify yourself. In the fire of meditation, wash the dirt from the mirror of your intellect. Sadguru Nityananda dwells in a pure heart and a clean mind. This is the wisdom of the Siddhas. How can you forget the truth? Why do you value falsehood so highly and then pay the price you yourself have created? Open your eyes. Whatever you may do, do it for your inner Nityananda. Become alert. Change the prescription of your glasses. Then look, and you will see only Nityananda. This is what the Siddha Yogis have told you. This is the teaching of Siddha Yoga. So now we'll hear from Dana, and then we'll have a little kirtan and conclude with Danya Danya and Joda Se Joda. Again, welcome everyone. Sadgurunad Maharaj Ki Jai.
Nityanandaya Gurave Shisha Samsara Harine Bhaktakarye Kadehaya Namaste Chitsaratmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nishpapanchaya Shantaya Hidambaya Tejase Om Sana Vavatu Sana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahe Tejasvani Dithamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti 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 Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So this is a big topic. It's a lovely book that's been created, and I just became familiar with it this week. Quite familiar, especially the beginning. And what I thought I would do in this first talk is the beginning of the text, and so that we sort of establish this old friend, the Guru Gita, and introduce it again and get into some detail, because the translation, the way it's all laid out, is so lovely. And I just chanted with it today for the first time, and you have the Sanskrit, you have the transliteration, you have the meaning, and then on the next page you have the breakdown of each word. So a tremendous amount of work has gone into this text. And so as I read it, as you study it, it really reveals a lot of meaning. There's some changes, there's some edits that happen. There's something that even got dropped out, I noticed. I'm looking at it for the old, anyway, but corrections. A great study by the Sanskrit scholars and the translators and the editors and the producers of the graphic artists and everybody have created a wonderful text here. Baba said, if anyone were to ask me what is the one indispensable text, I would answer the Guru Gita. This is so supremely holy that it makes the ignorant learned, the destitute wealthy, and the scholarly fully realized. The Guru Gita is a supreme song of Shiva, of salvation. It is a veritable ocean of bliss in this world. It encompasses the science of the absolute, the yoga of the self. It gives vitality to life. It is our harmonious composition. Its 182 stanzas in varied verse patterns beautifully describe the importance of devotion to the Guru, his role, his nature, and his distinguishing characteristics. If a person who is devoted to the Guru sings this song, he easily attains all powers, realizations, knowledge, and fulfills all the aims of yoga. When I first went to see Baba, I met him in Ann Arbor, and I got the bug. You know, so this is really interesting. This is really fascinating. This is very powerful because I had studied with a lot of different people, sampled a lot of different things, but obviously there was something very, very powerful about Baba, and I experienced a lot of love and a lot of Shakti, and it was enough to have me go from Ann Arbor to New York. And when I arrived in New York at the original New York ashram, which later wasn't there, and now it's in a different place. I think it was 86th Street, is that right? Yes. So I went into the ashram and they were chanting the Guru Gita. And I walked in and wow, there's this foreign Sanskrit sound, and I was handed a book and I sat down and I looked at the pages and I said, I'm looking, how many pages are there? How many verses? 182 verses. It's all in Sanskrit. I don't know any of it. And I was pretty taken aback by that. The difficulty, how do people know this? How do they learn this? But the melody was so sublime, and we're sitting there with Baba, and every morning he would come, there were maybe 30 people in the hall, and I began to look around because I wasn't really captured by the chant yet. And I noticed all these people sitting very upright, paying close attention, sitting with a book like this. As Gurudev said, everybody in India, so a lot of these people had come from India with Baba, and he had trained them there, and Gurudev spoke about that in his introduction to this book, and he said, Baba taught us to chant the Guru Gita every morning. He sat facing us, and we sat men on one side, women on the other. We held our book in one hand, and the other hand on one knee in what is known as Abhaya Mudra, the lion posture. We were supposed to follow the verses as he chanted, as we chanted. Baba did many things during the chant, because Baba was always very, very active. He'd yell at somebody for sleeping. He'd throw something at somebody for doing this or that, and he'd yell at us for being late to the chant. In the midst of all this chaos, we had to focus on our chanting book. He says, when one is little, and of course, even as an adult, the tendency is to look, observe, to wonder, like I was doing. Who's he yelling at? Who's getting the fire? But as soon as we looked away from our book, we'd be the next target. Who told you to look? Why are you looking? Look at your book. Truly, what this taught us was to ignore Baba and his play, and to remain focused on what we were doing. This is how he taught us to become established within ourselves. And he talks about Baba had little blocks that he would toss at the harmonium player. Baba Rao would periodically fall asleep while he was playing the harmonium, which was not good. So there was this scene that I noticed. I looked around and I saw these people. They were like almost all Western people, but they were very yogic. And I hadn't seen that in other places that I'd been. And when I think back, I think it was the chanting. It was the discipline. It was this yogic practice that had been going on for a few years in India. And when these people came, they exuded this energy of the ability to chant. And this chant was super powerful. So it was an environment that was created by the Guru Gita, by the other chants that were done, including the Shiva Hymna and the noon chant and kirtan at night, meditation. And so as the tour moved from that New York ashram to places like Boston, Washington, D.C., Georgia, Florida, New Mexico, Houston, we are being taught this chant, and this Vedic knowledge was being infused in us, and everybody became more and more disciplined. And to me, it looked like it was the foundation for Baba's work. If anyone would ask him, who is your deity, he would say the Guru. What is your text? He'd say the Guru Gita. So this Shakti, along with this devotion and this knowledge, was being imbued in everyone through the chanting of the Guru Gita. So everywhere we went, it was chanted every morning. We'd set up a hall somewhere in a Boy Scout camp or a school cafeteria, and everybody would unload the truck and set up the hall. And all of a sudden, there was an ashram there, and the very first thing every day was meditation, Guru Gita, and the whole ashram discipline would happen. There'd be a program in the evening. Lots of people were invited, but all the people from the area would come, and they'd all be exposed in the same way to this Guru Gita. And it was not easy for anybody, but everybody was so impressed by it, I think, and impressed by what Baba was doing there, was that they said, okay, we'll try it. They plowed through all this difficult Sanskrit, and we began to learn it. And what I discovered later was that it's a very good way to learn to read the Sanskrit script. Because I would go along and I'd say, oh, there's an S. I heard an S. And then later I'd say, oh, there's another S. And there are different S's in the Sanskrit language. And started to be able to literally learn. I know lots of people that learn the Sanskrit, to read the Sanskrit text through the Guru Gita. When we got to the Oakland ashram, by that time, and Baba was very happy to get to Oakland because it finally was at a place that was established. It was permanent. It became permanent. So everyone, the discipline became established there. Lots of people came. And the Guru Gita became stronger and stronger. As people chanted it longer, they got better and better at it. And Baba was paid a lot of attention to the correct pace of the chant. He said if you chant too slow, you lose your health. If you chant too fast, you lose your wealth. So, and the singers were more organized, and everything was harmonious, and the musicians were disciplined. It wasn't too fast. It had to be very, very clean and musically very correct. And Baba sat there like an orchestra leader, leading the chanting the Guru Gita and then the chants afterwards. And but he left the little wooden blocks in India. He didn't. I was kind of looking for those blocks, but so there we were chanting like that with Baba, and I think it really was. It really is. You come here and you feel the atmosphere here. You go to any of Gurudev's ashrams, Baba's ashrams. You feel this permeation of energy. You go, where does that come from? Well, we know for sure, those of us who have figured this out, it's the mantras. It's the power of the mantra. And the Guru is in the Shakti of the mantra. So there's no difference between the mantra and the Guru and the individual that repeats the mantra. So this Guru Gita and all these chants are just so powerful that they create this atmosphere. And you can just go into it and settle into a state of peace and oneness with your true nature, and it's blissful. One day I think it was the second spring, we were in Oakland after Baba had been sick, that was talked about recently quite a bit. We were told today in the Guru Gita, without any notice, we were told there's going to be a recording. So everybody's, what, we're recording? So everyone God, it was, I believe it was an audio recording. It wasn't a video, so we didn't, that's probably why we weren't told to put on good clothes and everything. But we all sat there and very, very alert and very, very paying strict attention to what the pace that Baba was setting. Everything went very well. Everyone was attentive. It was all sung on key. It was beautiful, and even though it was recorded a second time the second day, that first tape was placed on the audio cassette tapes and was sold in the bookstore. I think it's still maybe sold today. It's called the group Guru Gita with Baba Muktananda. And at the end of the chant, Baba said something. He had Swami Tejo Mayananda, who was also the translator for the talk we heard during the intensive, before the intensive on New Year's, that Baba gave in Arcata retreat. So Swami Tejo stood up and translated for Baba, who said, this Guru Gita is sung in Siddhi Yoga, and it is correct. This is the right way to chant this chant. Many people will sing this their own way, but this is correct. And so it was like, by doing this, Baba appeared to be establishing the Guru Gita as his text, the Song of the Guru, the official divine document of his mission and path. So all the Shakti in his mind always came from the Guru. Everything that he did, he said, I'm sitting under this tree. This is my Guru, and I'm protected, and all this happens by his grace. So the Guru Gita called the Song of the Guru begins Om Asya Shri Guru Gita Stotra Mantrasya Bhagavan Sada Shiva Rishi Nana Vidani Chandamsi Shri Guru Paramatma Devata Ham Bijam Sa Shakti Krom Kidakam Shri Guru Prasad Siddhyarte Jape Viniyogaha. Says here, the eternal Lord Shiva is the sage of the mantras in this hymn. So if we look at this beginning, we see some important parts. All the stotram, and the stotram is a Sri Guru Gita stotram mantrasya. So it's a ode, it's an invocation, a prayer to a deity. So then we need to know who that deity is that we're praying to, what the purpose of it is, what its meter is, who its bija or seed is, what the Shakti of it is, and what the kilakam, or the key that locks it from being, it's the mysterious part of this whole thing. But there's a kind of a lock or protection that's epitomized by this word kilakam. So krom is the kilakam. So all the stotrams, which are like odes, but they also contain deep philosophical teachings. So all the teachings that Baba was conveying, the Shaivism, Vedanta, the Bhagavad Gita, it's all there in the Guru Gita. And also, most importantly, the description of the Guru, as Baba said, his attributes, his qualities, and also what one will gain by the relationship with the Guru, by serving the Guru, and also what one gains by chanting the Guru Gita. And we see the results of chanting the Guru Gita in our own lives. Those people that have chanted the Guru Gita for a long time, or any of the chants that Baba taught and that we chant here, like the Vishnu Sahasranam, the Shiva Mahimna Stotram, their lives have gotten straightened out. And that's kind of along the lines of what Baba Gurudev has been saying, that we need to become like good human beings, good people, and that we can do things in the world that are helpful. Then this text doesn't say leave the world, become a cave-dwelling sannyasin or a monk. This is for those people that are in the world. It changes them. So we see what happens when it was happening that I noticed in the hall in the very beginning, that people had changed somehow. Because it was a time, and all times are like that, I guess, where everything was crazy, and everybody was crazy, and they were experimenting with a lot of different things, and this group was somehow, like, had gotten, like, elevated in some way. And so that's the result that we see in ourselves and others of those who chant. So Sadashiva is the rishi, the seer. So Sadashiva is really the highest Lord Shiva. So Sri Sadashiva is the seer of the mantras of this hymn. Oma Sha Sri Guru Gita Stotra Mantrasya Bhagavan Sadashiva Rishihi. He is the seer of this mantra. So he is the one who is giving it to us. Nana vidani chandamsi. So everything needs, all the stotrams, everything that we chant has a meter or a pace. So this says nana vidani. This has various types of meter. So you'll see as you go through the chant that sometimes there's a very even meter, and then sometimes it's a longer line that has to be a different pace, a different cadence to fill in all the syllables. So it changes in a few places in the chant. So there's the simple description of this is Nana Vidani Chandamsi. And so everything has a meter. And Chanda means rhythm or pace. It also can refer to the Spanda or the Shakti that's referred to in Kashmir Saivism. Everything moves at a pace, and that Spanda or Shakti pervades all life, all nature, our mind, everything. So the idea here is that the chant moves at a certain pace. It has a certain rhythm. Hum is its seed mantra. So we need to have a seed. So this lays out the different parts of the mantra of the Guru Gita. So hum is the seed or the bija. Sa is a Shakti. So we have the bija, the source of this text, of this stotram, is hum. So when we think of hum, we go back to the Soham mantra, the Hamsa mantra. And Baba says the hum means aham, that means I. And in this case, it means the very highest aham, the highest principle of all. So the bija, or the seed from which this arises, is Shiva himself, hum. And that hum exists within us. And when Baba says, focus on the space between the breaths, the breath comes in, hum, it goes out, sa, hum, sa, hum, sa. So that's what's being referred to here. The bija is hum, I am. The Devi, or the Shakti, the power of the mantra is sa, Shakti. So we have I am, and we have Shiva, Shakti. We have bija, Shakti. So every mantra has to have a bija, a seed from which it arises. The bija holds the essence of something, right? So we say a great banyan tree, the whole banyan tree, and this is one of the illustrations that used in the Upanishads. The whole banyan tree is contained in the seed, in a small seed. And I think there's a story, Lord Buddha says, open that seed, and what do you see in there? And he said, I see nothing. But in that nothing, this aham, this is Shiva. In that great space of emptiness, fullness, which can't really be described, that's the source, that's the seed of this mantra. And so every stotram also needs to have a Shakti, a power that flows in this rhythm, and these Sanskrit words, which hold great meaning, flow by the power of the Shakti of the mantra. So what is the Shakti of the Guru Gita? It says it is the Devi it is Sa. So we have Hum and Sa. And we go back to that central teaching and central practice that Baba gave us, a Hum, Sa. Simply be aware of the breath, Hum coming in, Sa going out, and pay close attention to the space between the breaths. So now we can just become aware of our breath as we hear these words. We can even look at it in the space between words, or it's between thoughts, because it's the substratum of everything. So that is this Hum. The space between the breath, Baba said, is a space of the self. That is your true nature. When the mind becomes still in that space, we should always try to dwell in that space. And so the space, we can really extrapolate here for a minute and say that space between Hum and Sa in the Guru Gita is the Guru himself. Between Hum and Sa, where do we find the Guru? In that space between the breaths. So we have Hum is Bijam, Sa Shakti, Krom Kilakam. So that's important. It's very, very important that we look at this and think about this, because this is where some of the very subtle aspect of the Guru Gita is hidden in a way. The Bija and the Shakti. This is the relationship between Shiva and Shakti, because we see as we go further that this is a conversation between Shiva and Shakti. So our life is really like a conversation between Shiva and Shakti. And everything, Shaivism says everything that we perceive, and everything, particularly since we perceive it within our own experience, with our own senses and in our own mind, that's all Shakti. And the perceiver is really Shiva. And it's only our own super activity of our mind and the busyness of the mind, the agitation of the mind, and the outgoing tendencies of the mind that veil the fact that we ourselves are Shiva, and that all this is just an expression of Shakti. So the Guru is a principle that says, it's right here. It's here all the time. So this is not about a physical being. This is about that principle that's within, in that space between thoughts. So the fact that the Guru Gita, the bija for the Guru Gita is Hum, is very significant. It's Shiva. The Shakti is Devi. So it's that goddess. It's that goddess that, according to Shaivism, is independent, all-powerful, and creates everything on her own screen. So all this is an expression of that. So we have all these parts. We have started the seer of the mantra, the meter, the bija, the Shakti, and the lock that holds it, that keeps it private and secret, and reveals its meaning to, even at the end, it's one of the very last verses, the Guru Gita says, don't give this to an atheist, don't, in other words, treasure this, don't just give it away. So it's got a lock on it, and it is, so then we have all these parts of the mantra, and you can look at these and investigate for yourself. But finally, it says, Shri Guru Prasada Siddhyarte Jape Viniyogaha. So when we do anything, if we really want to accomplish our purpose, we need to know what the purpose is, right? Any goal that we have, anything we do. So the Guru Gita has its own Viniyoga, the purpose for doing it. Shri Guru Prasada Siddhyarte Jape Viniyogaha. So Shri Guru's Prasada, we want to Siddhyarte, to accomplish, to receive the Guru's grace, is the goal of the Guru Gita. So that's quite simple, right? So we have these parts, the bija from which it comes, the seer who's giving it to us, who's showing it to us, who's presiding over it, delivering it to us. We have the bija, then we have the Shakti, the power of that mantra, because these mantras have tremendous power, which we see in our lives. And then we have the protection of it, and then we have the purposes stated. So from that platform, the Guru Gita is given to us. It's quite complete, quite systematic, It's according to Vedic principles. It's there. It's supposed to. I learned a while back that it comes from the Shiva Purana. Although I don't know if anyone's been able to find the actual text of it. But and I don't remember, because I wasn't there, when exactly Baba started chanting it, when he instituted it into the ashram schedule in India. If anybody knows that, I'd be curious to how that happened. So we go on from page 1, and this story begins. But first, the first thing we do is we connect. And this says, Ata Dhyanam. So that means now meditate. So in the very beginning, the format, the structure of the chant, the source of it is laid out just as we have done. And a lot of secrets have been placed there. And now it says, Ata Dhyanam. Now meditate. Hamsabhyam parivarta pata kamane divye jagat karane vishod kirnamaneka deha nilaye swachandam admechaya tadyotam parashambhavam tu charanam deepan kura grahinam prakyakshakshara vigraham gurupadam dhyaye vibhum shasvatam. So the idea is, in the very beginning there, this verse, we're meant to meditate. I'm going to do this anyway. We're meant to meditate and visualize the Guru. It says, he who resides in numerous bodies. So, because we're invoking the grace of the Guru, right? He who dwells in a divine lotus consisting of the petals Hum and Sa. So we have Hum and Sa coming again here, right? So we have this, we're meditating. He who resides in numerous bodies. What is that? How can you reside in numerous bodies? I just reside in this body, thank you. And I see that's the case with most of you. But the Guru, that principle, resides in numerous bodies, in fact, all bodies. So that puts it on a very high scale, right? That's Shiva himself. He resides in all bodies, in many bodies. The first quality that's mentioned here. Who dwells in a divine lotus. Although he dwells in all these bodies, he dwells within this divine lotus, consisting of the petals Hum and Sa. So we have a two-petaled lotus. The two-petaled lotus is here in the Ajna Chakra. And the Ajna Chakra, in the system of chakras in the body, in which the Kundalini travels, is meant to be the gatekeeper. You need permission there, and then the Guru sits there and gives you permission. Baba said this about the Ajna Chakra, the two-petaled lotus. After entering within, slowly go higher. We can see ourselves, we've entered in. And early he's talking about the heart chakra. We're entered into and the Kundalini is awakened, and we're reflecting on his own experience. He's really talking about the depth of his own experience. He says, after entering in, slowly go higher. Slowly. There's no need to hurry. As you rise higher, rest a while in the space between the eyebrows. That is the passport office of the Guru. So we're talking about this two-petaled lotus and this chakra where they're saying meditate there. That's the passport office of the Guru. With love, devotion, and humility, get your visa there. So he says, look, if you have any ego, throw it away like a worn-out shoe. Okay, there's the key right there. If you want to go past this place, this Ajna Chakra, ego is not going to serve you. Ego has to be eliminated. So those who have gone past the Ajna Chakra to the Sahasrara can testify to this fact. For the rest of us, we know we're still working. Most of us are working on that throw it away like an old shoe. Easier said than done, as Gurudev says. But he says, with love and devotion and humility, get your visa there. So he's giving us the method. Look, if you have any ego, throw it away like a worn out shoe. Otherwise, this visa will be very difficult for you to obtain. And so what is ego? Ego is that sense of, I am the doer. This is mine. This is yours. And the ego makes us fight, and makes us argue. It keeps us agitated. So we can, as we see, as we move forward in our yoga practices, we can function keeping the ego at bay. This is not really me. I may need this to manage, and sometimes I need a strong presence, a strong sense of individuality. But my real self is back here. It's this aham. And the real energy that I'm operating under the grace of is this Shakti. So it's Ham and Sa. So it's Hamsa Vyam Parivarta Patra Kamaler Divir Jagat Karaner. Meditate on He who resides in these numerous bodies, in all bodies, who dwells in a divine lotus consisting of the petals Ham and Sa. So we can just picture that. You're meant to picture that in the space between the eyebrows, if you can. Just imagine this. It's a very prevalent practice in Shaivism in particular, that you visualize. So we can visualize that two-petaled lotus, divine lotus, He who is the cause of the universe, who is independent and has this infinite free will, has transcended this world. So again, he's talking about that supreme principle and equating the Guru with that principle. The brilliant state of Shiva, perceived like the light of a lamp. So we could visualize the light there. Perceived like the light of a lamp is visible in the immortal form of the Guru's feet. So we've got the two petals lotus, we have the light, and we have the Guru's feet, or the Guru's sandals. So this is a very strong meditation experience that one can have, and it's a very powerful visualization and meditation that's being suggested here as a way to invoke the Guru. Because we want to meet somebody, we picture them, we love someone, we want to invoke, we want to receive the grace of the Guru, then we do this, and it gives us the understanding from the very beginning that the Guru is within us, and that the Guru is in all bodies, because this what we're visualizing is in all bodies, right? So we can stay in that space, in that two-petaled lotus where we're working on our visa. So we can move forward, and we can actually have the idea of the visa would be that we can not be under the influence of ego and negativity and selfishness, that we're free to move around freely, go any place. The visa allows you passage, right? So we get passage into this Hamsa awareness, that space between the breaths. We get to know the seer of the mantra, we get to know the bija of the mantra, we get to know the Shakti of the mantra, and so it's all revealed to us if we can set aside the ego. And the whole idea of this chanting every day is that you keep drinking that kind of awareness and that teaching. So now we've had the meditation, and we're in that space. And then we see, where is this taking place? What is this, the context of this Guru Gita? Sutta Uvacha, Kailash Shikare Ramye Bhakti Sandhana Nayakam Pranamya Parvati Bhaktya Shankaram Bharya Purchati. Sutta says, so Sutta is the narrator. So this is a story that's being told about a conversation in a particular place. It's Mount Kailash. So there is a Mount Kailash in India. It's an unclimbed mountain. Like the ego can't go to Mount Kailash. It's supposed to be the abode of Shiva. And Shiva and Shakti. Shiva and Parvati. We can imagine Shiva and Parvati, because in order for our minds to understand these principles, they're represented as individuals. In a sense, this is quite real, that at a level of authorship of the universe, there's a sense of limited enough, that the supreme principle, this formless principle, takes enough of us form that it can create this duality, create this world, and also live within it. And then also, after creating this limitation, can bestow grace upon individuals who pay attention and are seeking liberation, and that is bestowed in the form of the Guru. So this conversation is a real conversation to real entities, Shiva and Shakti. And where are they? They're on this Mount Kailash. On the beautiful summit of Mount Kailash, after bowing with devotion before Lord Shiva, who leads one to union with devotion, Parvati asks a question. So this is quite amazing if you think about it. Like, we have Shiva and we have Shakti. We have Shiva and Parvati, husband and wife, mother and father, sun, moon. Passive, male, female. Represented by the Shiva Lingam. The female aspect, the male aspect. The universe is the product of male and female. We see that in nature, all the different shapes. That it's a play of Shiva and Shakti. The active principle of Shakti creates this universe. So we have this dialogue between them. And here we have Parvati asking Shiva a question. So Parvati is representing us in a way. And this conversation is going on all the time in everyone. And so it's happening up here in the center, at Kailasha, Mount Kailash. So it's happening within us. It's an eternal dialogue that goes on for the sake of devotees. So on the beautiful mountain summit of Mount Kailash, so now we can still visualize that mountain, that snow-capped mountain that's never been climbed. After bowing with devotion before Lord Shiva. And you can think, if we read the Lalita Sahasranam, that Shakti is actually devotion itself. Devotion that we have, Shakti that we feel, that is the Devi. The mind is the Devi. Everything that we perceive, everything that enables us to perceive, the mind itself is the Devi. So here the Devi is taking a form and is asking Shiva a question. She says, Shri Devi Uvacha, which means now the Devi says, Om Namo Deva Devesha Parat Para Jagadguru Sadashiva Mahadeva Guru Diksham Bhadehime. The goddess said, O Lord, God of gods. So here we are on Mount Kailash. Parvati is there with Shiva. And she first praises him. Om Namo Deva Devasya. O Shiva. O God of gods. Now she's married to Shiva. That's her husband. And she bows to him with so much reverence and so much devotion. You are the God of gods. There's nothing higher than Parat Para Jagadguru. You are eternal. You are the Guru of the universe. Nothing is higher than you. So there's this relationship. And by invoking, when you want something, you have to come with reverence and with hands folded. So this is what Parvati does. She says, and what does she ask for? She asks for Kleenex. Where is it? Oh, thank you. Okay, excuse me. So here we are at the most pivotal part. I'm blowing my nose. Okay, so we're on Mount Kailash. We have Shiva and Shakti. Parvati is there, who's really us. It's this wonderful scene. So beautiful, so sublime. And she asks the one question that we're all interested in having the answer to. She says, please give me initiation on the path of the Guru. Sadashiva Mahadeva, oh Sadashiva Mahadeva, God of gods, Guru Diksham Pradehi me. Give me Diksha, give me Guru Diksha. So isn't this amazing and ironic that Shakti is acting Shiva for Diksha? But that's really what Shaivism says it happens. That we as Shakti begins to say, it's time for you to get initiation. So she asks for that on our behalf, with great devotion, with great love. And the questions she asks, Kena margena bo swami, dehi brahmam mayo bhave, tvam kripam kurume swami, namami charano tava. O Master, through what path can embodied beings become one with God? O Master, have compassion on me. I bow at your feet. What is the path? Kena margena. If we want to go somewhere, we want to know something, we need a method, we need a path. So she's asking for that method through which one can become with God. Dehi Brahman Mayo Bhave. Dehi is one who's in a body. So we're in this body, we're identified with the body, so we think, I'm this individual, I am this. We're convinced of that. No one can shake us from that conviction as much as only the Guru can shake us from that conviction. By substituting knowledge of our true self, which is like light that eliminates the darkness of that ignorance of thinking we're the body. Gena margena bo swamin dehi brahman mayo bhave. So how can that dehi, the individual who is convinced that he's the body, become Brahman, become the supreme reality? And we already talked about the Hamsa mantra, the space between the breath. By focusing there, we know that that's the gateway, in a way, to our true nature. How can one become, who is in this limited state, become one with Brahman? Swam kripam kurume swamin. Have mercy on me. Bestow your grace on me, O Swami. Namami charano tava. I bow to your lotus feet. I bow to you. So this is what is shown to us in this first part of the Guru Gita. Devi, Shakti, pranaming to Lord Shiva, asking the question on behalf of us, which is the eternal question. How do I become free? What path do I use? What method? Please initiate me. Please help me know this. And so there's a longing that's expressed by Shakti, by the Devi, on behalf of us, on behalf of all people in all times, all individuals in all places. She's asking for the Guru's grace. And it says here, Ishwara Uvacha, the Lord responds. The answer is given. He said, Mama Rupasi Devi Tvam Tvat Pratyartam Vadamyaham Lokopakaraka Prashno Nakenapi Kirtapura. Shiva says, O Goddess, you are my very own form. So there's the truth coming again. First, the first teaching, Hamsa. Ham and Sa are not separate. It's Shiva and Shakti are not separate. They just appear to be separate. And as they separate in a way, the world is created. And as they come together in this conversation and she prays for grace, then there's a beginning of union. There's a beginning of the elimination of this ignorance and the dawn of knowledge in an individual. So he says, Mama Rupesi Devi Tvam. You are my very own form. He's fully aware that duality doesn't exist because he is the source of everything. So Shiva is his own Shakti, his own form. Shiva has He's all pervasive. He's in all bodies, and all this is his form. The Shakti is his Devi, his wife, his consort, his power, his Shakti, is a beautiful, beautiful form. Mama Rupasi Devi Tvam. So first of all, he acknowledges her in this way. And he says, Tvat Pratyartam Vadamyaham. For because of your devotion, I will give you the answer. Tvat Pratyartam Vadamyaham. I will speak because of the love that you're expressing. So it gives us an idea that in order to know this, we need devotion. And so she expresses herself in the form of this devotion to Shiva. And he says something quite interesting here. Loko pakaraka prashno nake napi kurta pura. This question, which is for the benefit of the whole world, has not been asked by anyone before. How is that possible? But because it's the very beginning, it's the very source. No one's ever asked that question, or everybody's always asking the question. It's one or the other. He says, no one has ever asked this question. Like he's delighted by the question. He's delighted by Parvati's devotion. And he says, I will tell you the answer. No one has ever asked this question, which is for the benefit of the whole world. So the whole world can be uplifted by this teaching. Everyone can benefit. So finally, he says, Durlabam Trishu Lokeshu Tachanushva Vadamyaham Gurum Vinna Brahmananya Satyam Satyam Varanane. He says, Durlabam, difficult to obtain in all the three worlds. It's difficult to obtain in all the three worlds. So like Baba said, the passport's difficult to achieve if you have ego. You won't go past that point. Tachanushva Vadamyaham. Therefore, since it's so difficult, it's so subtle, he said, listen carefully, O Parvati. Guru Vina Brahmananyat Satyam Satyam Varanane. So here's the teaching, which you've already received in the beginning here, in the setting, in the whole presentation in these first 4 verses. Guru Vina Brahmananyat Satyam Satyam Varanane. God is no different from the Guru. O beautiful one, this is true. This is true. He says, I will tell you about that principle which is rare in the three worlds, difficult to attain. God is no different from the Guru. This is true. This is true. So that's the beginning. That's the setting. That's the bija, that's the Shakti, that's the Kilakam, that's the seer. That's the presentation of that Guru Gita and that everyone chanted with Baba and that we continue to chant today. And it's a lovely thing that we have this book, and I'm going to start chanting the Guru Gita with it, and as you go along, sometimes your mind you go to start reading the translation, and you miss the verse because you have to turn the pages quickly because there's a verse on every page. But you can study the meaning, you can study the Sanskrit. It's broken down very carefully. Every word was studied and debated amongst the scholars, I'm sure. How can we translate this? What is the most succinct way to do it without having too many words? And so much work went into this that it's a really tremendous boon for us to have it. So Baba says in closing, therefore sit for swadhyaya in a disciplined manner, full of love for the Lord, feeling that He is sitting by your side. Let your attention be concentrated on the mantras and their goal, on the sound of the chant, on your own self. Do not permit it to wander away. When the mind begins to roam, it becomes distracted. But when it turns within and is absorbed in swadhyaya, and swadhyaya means self-study, it becomes refined and perceptive. So we want the mind to become refined and perceptive. Sing sweetly and in tune, For the Lord hears every word you utter with great love and responds quickly to your feeling. Do not think he is remote. You become alienated from the all-pervasive being because you have always considered him to be far away. He is exceedingly close, closer than your breath. Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai.
So this concludes our Sunday morning satsang. Thank you all for joining us. And be sure to spread the word and invite everyone to join us for our exploration and experience of the Guru Gita in the coming months of 2021. And Dana did such a lovely job at providing the background, the setting, the foundation of that which we are going to be embarking upon. So make sure to also get your copies of the Guru Gita, the study book version. You can do that on the Shanti Mandir website, or you can call in or send an email, and we can assist you with that. Also, just a reminder to everyone to make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get all of the notifications when all of the programs are being live streamed to you virtually, so that you can join us on Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And a reminder to everyone, so Thursday, we look forward to seeing you for the chanting of the Guru Gita, and that's 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. on Thursdays, Eastern Standard Time. And on Saturday evenings, our evening kirtan, which is from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then on Sunday morning, our Sunday morning satsangs, beginning with the Guru Gita, 9 o'clock a.m. until 12 o'clock noon with Sunday satsang. So we look forward to having you all here and joining us virtually wherever you are. And with that, everyone's invited to come up for darshan, followed by lunch prasad. Sadgurunad Maharaj Ki Jai.